Tens of thousands of Albertans.
Hi, thanks everyone for joining me. We're here on Treaty 6 territory, and I also want to recognize the Métis people of Alberta who share, of course, a very deep connection with this land. While teachers across the province continue to say that they feel unsupported and ill-prepared for the implementation of math, language arts, and physical education and wellness this fall, the Education Minister and the UCP are asking teachers to do even more. While everyone is asking the UCP to slow down and address the stress and the trauma that students, staff, and families have faced, especially during the last 2 years, instead the UCP is forging ahead and forcing more change on Alberta students and teachers. While today's update appears to be an admission that the social studies curriculum is nowhere near appropriate for classrooms, teachers keep telling us that they feel stressed and overwhelmed. And the curriculum in general isn't ready, but the UCP continues to forge ahead. They've ignored the pleas from parents, teachers, trustees, academics, racialized Albertans, and Indigenous leaders to scrap the entire curriculum. The curriculum is so bad that the Northwest Territories is ending a 40-year relationship with Alberta and is now going to teach British Columbia's curriculum instead. Alberta's teachers overwhelmingly rejected the draft curriculum. Only a couple of school boards were willing to pilot a small portion of it. And last May, 99% of teacher delegates who were at the ATA Representatives Forum voted non-confidence in Education Minister Adriana LaGrange. Teachers deserve better. Students deserve better. Albertans cannot trust the UCP with public education and this vital task of creating a curriculum that's modern and inclusive. Albertans deserve a government that they can trust and a curriculum that they can be proud of, preparing students for higher learning, the world of work, and being engaged citizens. Families deserve a government that they can trust and have confidence that teachers, cultural leaders, academics, employers, that they're fully involved in creating a new curriculum. But there is hope. Parents, teachers, trustees, and every Albertan who is appalled with the curriculum and the process that's being led under the UCP has the power to change the government. There is an election coming soon, and Albertans will have the opportunity to elect a government that they can trust, a government that supports public education, that stands up for students, staff, and families. And we want to hear from all Albertans on issues that matter to them. The only way you can truly have a curriculum that Albertans can have confidence in is to change the government. So an NDP government led by Rachel Notley will work with educators, community leaders, and academics to build a curriculum that all Albertans can be proud of. Thank you. I'm happy to take your questions.
Thank you. Just a reminder, if you're on the phone, to use the *9 function. If you're on Zoom, to use the raise hand function. But we'll start in the room, and it's one question and a follow-up, please.
What you make of the fact that it has already been delayed and there has been other drafts released one after the other. Has that improved the process? Has that amounted to anything in your view?
Well, today we heard that Francophone boards are going to be willing to pilot the French portion of the curriculum, so I think that's definitely a different tone than what we heard from them a year ago. I still have big concerns about the underlying philosophy behind the curriculum and the people that Jason Kenney and Adriana LaGrange have put in charge of this process. The fact that they hired Chris Champion, who's been well documented as having very racist views that he continues to push, that his publication continued to say in response to the Pope apologizing for residential schools that the Pope shouldn't have done that. Like, these kinds of opinions don't belong anywhere near Alberta classrooms, and these are the people that they put in charge of this process. So perhaps today's announcement is that less harm will be done than they could have been doing otherwise, but it's still not a good news announcement. We still don't see the kind of enthusiasm and buy-in that we want to see when we're seeing such a major shift in the curriculum. We want every Albertan to be excited and to feel that they're included and that their child, that the students in Alberta classrooms are going to be set up for success.
And if I can have a follow-up still about the timing, you're saying it's a lot on the plate of the teachers.
Yeah. Well, teachers already don't feel prepared. The vast majority, there was a survey recently, and the vast majority of teachers don't feel prepared for the 3 subjects that are being forced on them right now. So there's going to be phys ed and wellness for kindergarten to grade 6, and then math and language arts are being put forward for kindergarten to grade 3. So that's already a lot that's being put on Alberta classrooms all at once. And now the minister's saying, oh, please also add these additional subjects. You know, teachers already don't feel that the government's doing a good enough job preparing them with professional development, with resources for the subjects that are being forced on them this fall, and they're asking them to take on even more. If they really wanted to listen, they'd welcome teachers back to the table. They create a process in partnership with teachers, the people who are going to be implementing this curriculum, and they make sure that they were enthusiastic and ready every step along the way.
And sorry, just so I make sure I get
Sure.
your stance correctly, are you saying you shouldn't pilot at all?
I'm saying that teachers are telling Albertans that they're not ready, that they don't feel well supported. So I think I appreciate that the school boards feel better prepared now than they were a year ago when they were asked to pilot, when they right out refused. Every Francophone school refused to pilot a year ago. Now that the boards feel a little bit more prepared, but I know teachers overwhelmingly say that they're still really anxious and nervous. So I think if you want it to be successful, you need to have teacher buy-in, and it sounds like we don't have that yet.
Any more questions from the floor? Okay, we'll go to the first caller from the phone. Please state your name and outlet. And one question, one follow-up. You're on, Janet.
It sounds like, though, that the government is saying, well, we've made quite a few changes to this, this Francophone English language arts and literature, the French immersion English language arts and literature, and to science. So why are you still feeling so uncomfortable, or are you still feeling uncomfortable about the content of these drafts for these subjects?
So when I've gone to teachers' convention in the past, when there's going to be a new curriculum rolled out, there are professional development sessions, there are resources, there are textbooks. None of that has been finalized yet to support teachers for this upcoming fall's implementation. And at the same time, teachers are dealing with more stress and anxiety. We know that there were huge gaps in learning for kids right across the province, given the chaos that was forced on them by being forced online, back in person, online in person, and generally the chaos that was felt in Alberta households across the province over the last 2.5 years. So teachers are feeling a lot of pressure just on the 3 subject areas that they're already being asked to implement, and now the government's asking them to do even more. And I think the government has failed to show teachers respect, and they continue to download more pressures onto them. So I'm really worried for, we've already seen that about 1/3 of Alberta teachers are thinking about either leaving the profession or the province. I want teachers to be respected, to be well supported, because they are the ones tasked with that frontline learning support and direction and guidance for children right across this province. And we deserve teachers to feel supported and really well prepared when we're asking them to take on such a big amount of change. And they already are feeling incredibly overwhelmed. I don't know many teachers who feel really well supported and ready for September at this point.
Do you have a follow-up, Janet?
Yeah, I just wanted some more clarity on if the NDP were to form government. You said that's really the only way to get a new curriculum that has more widespread teacher buy-in. Are you saying that if you form government, you would pull back the curriculum that's already been implemented into some classrooms? I mean, would that not just potentially create even more instability if you're pulling it back out of class and going back to the old curriculum?
Yeah, thanks for the question. And our number one commitment is that we're going to be partners, and we're not going to be forcing things on the community that the community doesn't want. Albertans have overwhelmingly said that this curriculum process is broken, that they think it's a dumpster fire. Teachers have overwhelmingly rejected it, and we think it's important that we get people to the table, including Indigenous leaders, Japanese Canadians, Black Canadians, leaders who say that this curriculum is founded in division and isn't going to set the community up for success and kids up for the world of work and higher learning. So we want to make sure that we invite all community leaders, as well as the leaders from academic institutions that support teaching and learning, to be at the table to work with experts in Alberta education and the government to create a curriculum that has full buy-in. We think that this has been made incredibly political by Jason Kenney and the UCP. He used this when he was running for leader a few years ago, and he continues to try to use this as a political football. And we think that the knowledge that children learn and how they learn is way too important for us to be using as a political football for UCP votes. We think that it's incredibly important that everyone be at the table and have better buy-in. So we would welcome teachers back to the table, and we would make sure that we create a long-term curriculum that can be successful for future generations.
Okay, I think we'll do one more pass for questions in the room. Oh, one more pass on the phone. Remember, it's *9 if you're on the phone. Raise hand if you're on Zoom. Seeing no more questions, that concludes our press conference today. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much for watching, and to learn more, check out albertasfuture.ca.